Alright, here it is. The episode you've all been waiting for. How to do eyes. Now, I know, I see them everywhere. Like, here's an eyeless vector because, obviously, I guess this person didn't know how to do eyes. This person's asking, how do I do eyes? I see people asking how to do eyes everywhere. And to be honest, I see most people that have first attempt vectors, second attempt vectors, or just vector artists in general, even if it's like their fourth or fifth vector. The eyes are terrible. And here, let me load up the bad vector I made a while back, and I'll show you why. This is our template today, but we'll get to that later. So here's the bad vector. And if I zoom in on the eyes, look at that. You'll notice it's pathed. Like I made it with paths. And this is what most people do when they draw eyes. They use paths to draw the white, and the iris, and the pupil, and the shine, and the accent, and the highlights. And it ends up looking bad. Like I won't try to be nice or anything. It looks terrible. I don't know why people even bother. So, but you know what? I'll stop yelling at people or criticizing people. Let's get down to business. So how do you do eyes, Orange? I'll tell you how to do eyes. It's not with the pen tool. That's the secret. Don't use the pen tool at all. Well, there's one minor exception. We'll get to that later. What you do with eyes is you use the ellipse tool. And you can get to that by holding down this, hold down, and then click and go down to the ellipse tool. And the ellipse tool is the main basic tool for all eyes. And let's get started. I guess I'll have to show you how to do them. So here's Scootaloo. You've probably seen this one before. Looks familiar if you're on Reddit. If you don't know what it is, then don't bother. But anyways, here's Scootaloo. The rest of the vector's been done. You've already done the hair, which we haven't covered yet, but you've done the strokes and the fills. And you've done the... you don't have to do the tuxedo. Ignore the tuxedo. Ignore the tuxedo. See, that's how cool vectors are. Tuxedo on, tuxedo off. Tuxedo on, tuxedo... Okay, never mind. Anyways. Time to do eyes, right? So let's go ahead, disable the fill. And turn on the reference layer. And you'll notice here, I've got the eyelashes and the eyebrows done already. Why do I have the strokes on in the main, on in the fill? You'll notice I've got the eyebrows and the eyelashes done already. Actually, I didn't do them. Morshman did them, but I left them there. And I'm not going to tell you how to do those. I'll cover them briefly right now, but they're basically just strokes, and we covered that in episode 2. So, eyebrows. Put those in their own group. They go above the strokes, but below the hair, because sometimes the hair will overlap the eyebrows, and the stroke will always go under the eyebrows and the eyelashes. So put the eyebrows and the eyelashes between those two, stroke and the hair and the stroke. And so, if you look here, this one here is always a point. Always, never, ever is it two-line curve. Most of the eyelash things are pointy. Most eyelashes end in a single point at the top and fall down into 2 other points. And the eyebrow is always a curve around the eye that goes into 1 point and then blends into the eyelashes. Orsh here did it, and he did the eyelashes and the eyebrows separately. Sometimes you might want to do that, but it depends on what image you're tracing from or what drawing you're tracing from. In this case, it was easier to go and separate the eyelashes and the eyebrows. In some cases, it might not be. In some cases, you might want to do the eyebrows and the eyelashes together as one path. But in this case, we need to do it this way. So, let's get started with the eyes. The first thing you want to do is make a new group between eyelashes and eyebrows, which is between hair and stroke. Or if you have the eyebrows and the eyelashes together, put the eyes under the eyebrows / eyelashes layer. But just in general, put them above the eyelashes if there's that separate layer, and below eyebrows. They should always be below eyebrows. So make the eye group. And we're going to go ahead and make 2 separate groups here. We'll call the first one eye right. And the second subgroup, not right, I left. Gee, I wonder what those are for. You know, I don't know. So let's start with I right, and this will be our right, not Scootaloo's right. Eye whites are always white. They're never like a grayish color like the teeth are. Okay, so let's start by tracing. Take out your ellipse tool, like I've got it here. And, make sure it's set to shape, set shape. And then click this arrow here and make sure it's unconstrained. Make sure it's, of course, make a new shape. And go ahead and click and drag. Don't have to be exact. Pardon me for a second, I want to turn that off. Oh, I should probably keep that on. Hang on a sec. Okay, now change the opacity to 20 or 30, it doesn't matter. Now do Control T for a free transform. And this is the hard part. This is all guessing. This is all you have to do is don't hold Control down and keep the circle restrained. Just kind of freeform all the points. Try to make it look and match the eye as accurately as possible. You can do this using all, 8 points on the free transform tool. Rotating is key. Even though it looks like a circle, it's not. I'm having a lot of trouble with this. Usually you don't have this much trouble. This might be why. There we go. Alright. No, there we don't go. There we go. Okay, so there's your eye white. Now you're going to make another ellipse. Same thing. Your property should have carried over if you're still in the ellipse tool. And do the same thing for the iris of Scootaloo. That sounds like a movie. Hasbro presents the iris of Scootaloo. And then one last time for the pupil. Now notice here that it's overlapping up in here and it's all over here and it's all messy over here. That's perfectly fine. We'll get to that later. Finally, we will go ahead and do the eye shine while we're at it. Now this first one you can use the ellipse tool for, same as all the other ones. The second one though, most of the times you can see it's not exactly an oval, it's not exactly a circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a polygon. Control click to reselect the path after you close it. Make 2 points on the top and the bottom, and then subtract the anchor points of the polygon so you're left with these 2 points. And this will make an irregular shape, or it might make a regular ellipse, but I just find it easier to make than an ellipse because it kind of makes a half rectangle, half not rectangle-y thing. I don't know, whatever to call it. So there's your eye. You ready to see it? Finished product, turn everything up to 100%. There you go. Pretty amazing, huh? Okay, let's get to work. First things first is the eye gradient. Now, there are several ways to do this. You can easily just go to your color guide, grab the colors, select the gradient tool, click and drag, and boom, you're done. But that makes it rasterized, and we don't want it to be rasterized. So go ahead and open up your color guide. I did not open my color guide in time. I don't have a Scootaloo color guide. You know what this means? I'm going to have to take Rainbow Dash. Because Rainbow Dash is Scootaloo, right? Alright, so Rainbow Dash color guide. Grab the eye gradient component here on the bottom with your eyedropper tool. Now go back to this layer here, this iris layer we'll call it. Click the FX button on the bottom. Go to gradient overlay. This window will pop up. Now click this arrow in the gradient thing. Select your colors that we just selected because it'll always default to black and white. Now this is up to you. You have to mess around. Well, first, you should probably cancel and set that layers opacity to 100%. Okay, here we are. Gradient. Now this is up to you. You gotta guess, where does the gradient go? Dark is always on top. And why is this not working? Oh, make sure align with layer is checked. There we go. There we go. That'll do it. So now you've got your perfect eye, right? Wrong. Wrong. Totally wrong. You've still got the accent and the highlight to do. So let's work on that. Select the accent and the highlight color. And now what you're going to do is you're going to make a new group between the gradient layer we just made and the pupil layer. And call it whatever you want. I'll just call it keyboard smash. There we go. Perfect, right? There. Alright, now go to your pen tool. Yeah, we're going to use the pen tool now. Don't do that. Select the darker color for the top. And loosely but precisely path out the highlights here. You want to keep the lines straight. No Bezier curves here. Now what this will do, since we ordered it this way, is the iris will be below the accent and the highlight, and the pupil will overlap them. So you'll have a nice clean edge on this side, but on this side, you've noticed we've got this kind of mess over here. So let's bring everything up to 100%. And now we've got our eye all ready to go. So now comes the fun part. This is where eyes become kind of hard-ish, I want to say. This is the masks. And you're like, well, Orange, you can't rasterize masks, because when you go mask in a group, and you have to use a paintbrush, right? Wrong. Delete that. Go back to your pen tool. Press P. And watch this. Start tracing out a path along the eyebrow. Because since the eyebrow is overlapping the eye, it doesn't matter. And it'll start making a shape, right? And this is the area we want to be subtracted. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, watch this, on the layer panel, click and drag the mask onto the eye right group, delete the shape we just made, the fill, control click the path to reselect it, go up here and select the subtract from path area button, and watch that. Did you see that? It's gone. It's magic. Holy crap, Orange. That was amazing. I know, right? Let's do the same thing for down here. Make a new path. Since that mask is now there, it will apply for all paths. Make a new path between point A and point B here. And it should already be set to subtract, and so if you mess around with these Bezier curves here, as usual, Bezier curves are going to be stubborn, and you got to do a lot of guessing and checking. If you need to add a midpoint, go ahead, add a midpoint. Adjust accordingly. I think that looks about right. And that does look about right. So, Only thing left is right here, this tumorous accent highlight thing. So you're going to do the same thing. Go down to that group, the keyboard smash group. Start drawing a shape with the pen tool. Kind of trace over the iris layer there. Draw the around the area you want to be subtracted. Make sure you get it all. Click and drag the mask onto the group, not the layer. Delete the fill that was just created. Control click, click subtract. And you'll notice we've got this sliver here, so what we're going to do is we're just going to use the Bezier control click old trick and even it out. Now the trick here is to not have any of the iris showing from under the accent and the highlight here. So you just want to have them kind of overlap, go over, and boom, there you go. You got your first eye. Wow, look at that. Looks like it's just from the show, right? Only difference being that you know, it's Rainbow Dash eye color, not Scooter the White color. And it's perfectly clean, perfectly capable of being resized, since there's nothing rasterized in it. Oh, another important thing. This part and the eyelash thing should always match up with the curve coming up from the eye white. So if it doesn't make that, just, you know, control click, fix that. Boom. Nice and clean. Alright, let's work on the other eye now. Let's disable the fill. And we already made the eye left group, so we're just going to use that. Go back to default black white. Select the ellipse tool. Disable the stroke for now because the eye goes over the stroke. Like I said before. Delete left lashes. Or don't delete. Hide. Hide the brows. And let's go ahead and do the old guess and check method here. But really, that's what eyes are all about, is guessing and checking. There's not a lot of work. Well, I guess if you count the guessing and checking as work, then yes, there's a lot of work. But it's not as hard as it seems. People make it seem hard. That's because they use the pen tool, or the path tool in Inkscape. Use the ellipse tool. I know it has that in Inkscape, I know that has it in Photoshop, I know it has it in Illustrator. It's in every vectoring program out there. Alright, so that's about right. Notice how it bleeds over, easily fixed. Go ahead and make the iris. And the pupil. And we'll have that expand over there. Make that black. Do this one here. Now you'll notice it cuts off here. That's because of the eyebrow in the way there. So we don't have to worry about that. Make that white. And finally, the small eye shine. Make the polygon, make the 2 points in the top and the bottom. Delete the 4 polygon points. And use control click to adjust accordingly. Alright, and same thing. For the eye gradient, grab the gradient colors since we went back to black and white. Make everything 100%. FX gradient overlay. Click the arrow. Click on your colors. Make sure the dark one is on top. Try to match the eye you just did over here. Might be a bit hard, but I believe in you. There we go. Alright, and last but not least, the highlights. Make a group, keyboard smash, grab the colors, highlight, and accent. Pen tool. Turn the opacity down on this one, on this one. Go back to your group. Really roughly. When I say rough, I mean like get the lines, but you don't have to be like making curves, trying to line it up with the iris, because we'll just get that with the mask. And it's easier to get both with one mask than it is with two paths conflicting with each other. Because that's another thing that makes bad vectors look bad, is you have two paths that are trying to do the same thing and they don't match up evenly, so it looks unprofessional, it looks bad. Also, another note, when you're doing the accent and the highlight, make sure they overlap, so one overlaps the other. Why do these have gradient? I don't know. Ignore that. Alright, set the colors. Light one on the bottom, dark one on the top. Bring everything in the eye back to 100%. And just for fun, we'll do these first. Get your pen tool. Roughly trace the iris. And we'll do a subtract layer. Click and drag onto the group. Delete the fill. There's probably a better way to do that, but I'm too lazy to figure it out. Okay, click and drag. So that's that. That's done-ish. That works. Alright, now re-enable your eyebrows and your eyelashes. And let's go ahead and do the eye masks. So kind of select here, I guess. Go like that. Subtract all that. Click and drag to IL. Delete the fill. Control click on the path. Click subtract. And there you go. You got yourself a nice unselected path there. Change the opacity down to 20. 30, it doesn't matter. And we're going to cut down here, so go ahead. Re-enable your stroke. Remember how we disabled that? And take a look down here. Let's disable the eye real quick. And re-enable the fill, so I can talk to you about this. Always here, these two should match up. Right now, they're kind of matched up, and I'll just keep it that way. But if the nose hits the eyebrow, the point should always touch. Never should like this be over here. They always have to touch. Purely symmetrical reasons, but I've noticed it in every vector I've done where they like that. We can go ahead and take out the reference layer now, make it look clean. Bring back the eye we were just working on. And let's go ahead and make another subtraction layer. This one you kind of have to be precise with, because since we're going over the stroke, if you just kind of make sloppily be like, oh yeah, leave this out down here, it's going to keep this area here. You see how it's still there? We don't want that. So go ahead, make a point here, because the eyebrows are still overlapping it. And if anything, have the eye overlap the stroke a little bit, but not have this, not like this way. Have it over this way. And then you can do the messy part over here. Make sure these two paths don't touch each other, don't cross the streams. Otherwise, it'll re-include, I believe. Or maybe not. Okay, in that case, just go like that. Be as messy as you want with that. And so, that should complete our masking. So if I enable 100%, you should have 2 perfectly good eyes. Well, it looks like there's an eyebrow problem over here. Hang on. There we go. Okay. There you go. We have just gone through how to do eyes the bright way. My way. My way is not always the right way, but I believe this is the perfect right way to do eyes for ponies. You notice this eye over here goes over the stroke. Always. And that's... Oh, one last thing. Let's go over our eyebrows again. To do that, I don't need to show you. Close your eyes if you don't want to be spoiled, if you haven't seen episode 1, season 2 yet. Ready? Go. For eyelashes, I'm just going to go over these real quick. For eyelashes, if I can find the right layer for eyelashes, there they are. Like I said, there's usually 1 point on the top, 2 points on the bottom. 1 point on the top, 2 points. Sometimes, though, there might be a curve. So you're going to have 2 points on the top, 2 points on the bottom. All Bezier. Although the bottom ones will have an angle. Sometimes it might be tapered, so you'll have something like so. It'll be kind of like that. Or like I said, you might have it point. There's another thing I noticed with eyebrows. This is something else you shouldn't do. Don't have the Beziers go out too far. Otherwise, you'll end up with these really ugly bumps here. You see that bump? We don't want that bump. So keep your Beziers close to the anchor point when you're doing eyebrows and eyelashes. Also, this one down here is a single point always. Remember, it lines up with the eye white. Same thing over here. And yeah, that's how to do eyes. You go try. I want to see what you guys do this time. Send me whatever vectors, put them in the subreddit, say they'll use the tutorial to make eyes, and I want to see if I did a good job. I want to see if you did a good job, and let's make the world a better place by making better eyes on ponies. Because frankly, I'm tired of seeing bad eyes. So, hope this helped. My name is Orangel. This has been a vector tutorial for MLP Vectors, the subreddit. I will see you next time when we talk about hair, I think.